Hello, and welcome to the Threatened Ganglia vodcast for Star Trek Discovery, Episode 14, The War Without, The War Within. I'm Corpulent Geek.
And I'm Sci-Fi Christina.
You may see things look a little different this time.
I have a narwhal in my head.
That's very different, yes. Oh, dear Lord. But we've also changed around the studio a little bit. Oh, wow, you really were taking that off quick, weren't you?
I told you it was getting hot.
That's understandable. So we tried changing things up so this way when we get into discussions there we can see each other and
we were too far away. Yeah. I needed to be able to reach out.
She's reaching out. I was going to make a footsie joke under the desk. That's why we're married.
Woohoo!
Anywho, so yeah, we're back. Sorry we missed out yesterday, but you know how things get. We were still trying to recover from certain events that went on. Whew. Anyway, yeah, and tomorrow hopefully Philadelphia's still standing, but it should. The parades are generally.
If it was going to burn down, it was going to be Sunday night.
Yeah, and you know parts of the city did.
No, small parts.
Small parts. Anyway, all right, so we're jumping into the all ahead full impulse section now.
Did we warn about our spoilers?
We didn't warn about the spoilers.
Clear all moorings.
Clear all moorings. That right. And I jumped ahead to all ahead full impulse. But see, you know why I missed it? Because I made the font a little bit smaller in our notes. And actually now I don't know how to switch back and forth between the notes because like all of me is on camera. And when I look down here to look at our notes, it's going to look like I'm disinterested in my wife and the vodcast overall. So I'm going to need to think about a way to do that. Maybe I'll move the monitor over here a little bit more. It'll block more of my girthy middle. I don't know.
That's your corpulent goodness.
Mouth sounds in a vodcast. That's great. It's only slightly better in the podcast, which I haven't actually uploaded for a while. But I'll get back on doing it.
All of our fans are missing it.
Yes, all of them. So, but there will be spoilers in this episode, as my wife reminded me to say. Everything up through episode 14, so all the stuff. And just a quick reminder that at the end of the show, our last segment that we do is called Black Alert. And that is all about our speculation and any spoilery things we might have heard out there in the news. There's nothing like that going on right now. And anything that might have dropped during After Trek that would be important. But I don't think there was any of that either. So this time, it's just all going to be our theories, our wild theories that we have. And we really enjoy doing that, especially with this show, because they've done such a good job at dropping hints along the way and letting you follow along and come up with that stuff yourself.
Yep.
So that's it. Moving on. Now we are definitely all ahead full impulse.
War. What is it good for? Making bad plans and even worse plans.
I didn't know you were actually going to sing it, though.
Of course I'm going to sing it. Why would you think I wouldn't sing it?
Maybe the first part, but then...
the first part is two grunts.
That's one grunt. War is a full-on word.
Yeah, but you grunted out.
No. Okay.
War.
Anyway, so Saru knows how to lock some secrets down with that quick classification in the transporter room. I'll bet you that he's the biggest gossip on the ship.
Cornwell was so pissed she did not get to shoot Lorca herself.
And I don't care what any other reviewer says or anyone else that watches this show. Lunchroom tropes are still fun, damn it. That was one of the biggest complaints we heard this past week about the show. Is that the lunchroom trope where Tilly went over and talked with Tyler, it's so played out. We all need to see it. No, it's an easy way to look at that. I guess we'll just jump right into going to warp then. It's an easy way to demonstrate what's going on, because otherwise you have all these people and there's going to be two places where they can do this kind of stuff in their 10 forward or on their station, and they're not supposed to be talking about stuff like this on their station. Sorry, I just kind of jumped right in there.
That's fine.
But
no, I like it. I think the trope of like, you know, the guy on the outside walking in and the whole place going silent is always a little dramatic, but I think it and obviously this show, I think we have hit on especially the last couple of weeks that they are everything dealt with a mirror. a mirror image. We went to the mirror universe, and we had these mirror images from the beginning of the show and the end.
Okay.
So in the beginning, Burnham was the mutineer, and she came on the ship, and she walked into, when she was still in her criminal outfit
that just was like tannish gold looking.
Yeah, because she was a Starfleet prisoner, as opposed to the ones she was traveling with, who were just like
she did have a slightly different one,
Joe Schmo ones. Yeah,
but it still wasn't like very pronounced. Like nowadays, prisoners are in the orange fatigue, so they like stand out. They're either a hunter or they're a prisoner.
True, but I guess I'm sure there was something implanted on them so that they could find them if they needed to, or.
Oh, kind of like Tyler has a little wristband now.
Yeah, he's on lockdown. He's in.
They give him the Apple Watch, and
yeah, you're not going to be able to access things as much. Your Apple Pay is restricted now.
Oh.
So she came into the lunchroom, and Detmer was there, and everyone went silent because she was the mutineer, and so now he's experiencing that same exact thing, walking in, and no one came over to talk to her, except for the fellow criminals who were gonna beat the crap out of her, and but now we have Tilly, who's like the heart of the ship, and she came over and was like, and it was great too, because like it pronounced exactly what was gonna happen. It was like he comes in and sits down, and we see Tilly, and she's like, "Excuse me, I have a thing to do." She picks up a tray and walks over and sits down.
It seemed actually kind of rude to Detmer. She was just like, "Excuse me," and like went a little bit, but we know what she was really trying to do.
Yeah.
Sorry, I tuned out there for a second because I was looking in the chat room, and 1 second we'll get to that one, but I just want to make sure that. So you were talking about the mirroring how Burnham and Tyler went into the thing, and how they had like different responses from the crew and all.
Yeah, and then there are other instances of mirror images. I guess that really there's topic is just like how
many
and
mirror
I guess
ones.
Next week will probably be the best week to do that, is to kind of like show all the parallels. But obviously with the episode, when jumping right to the end of this last episode, ending with Georgiou returning, is a mirror of the beginning of her, being on the Shenzhou and being the captain. So it's, they're showing us these events are happening in kind of slightly different ways in the beginning and the end, and I find it a nice storytelling technique.
Yeah, and but like there was definite precedent for, because another set of reviewers was talking about.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I today's not going to be a good words day, so I'll try and gesture with pictures and stuff maybe. How they were surprised that they gave Tyler a pass on everything that he did, and because they pointed out that everyone was so jerky to Michael when she first got on the ship, and it's like, well, but they didn't know Michael at all, and they've served with. I keep wanting to call him Shazad, Tyler. And they served with Tyler for a while.
I wish I could remember his name from Toast of
London.
Steven, this is...
something, Clem Fandango.
Clem Fandango.
Oh, thank you to whoever on Twitter pointed that out to me, because that's good. This
whole episode, every time he was on screen, all I can think of, Steven, this is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me?
Now that you've brought it up, you need to... tell them what we're talking about.
You need to go to Netflix and find it's called Toast of London. It's a British television comedy, and it's written by the lead actor, whose name is not coming to me, unfortunately, but he also starred in IT Crowd, and if you haven't seen IT Crowd, you gotta go and watch all of that too. It's not very many episodes, but it's funny. And if you have at any time in your life worked in IT or with computers, you will find it hilarious.
Yeah,
that's
it's
my
good
plug
stuff.
for that.
Even
Shazad Latif was in Toast of London, and playing a completely different character, and it's good for a laugh.
There's a YouTube supercut of most of his scenes in that show that is worth it.
Yes.
All right, so segueing over to our chat, we have a question from Fabian Rodriguez. And he mentioned that he thinks I called it right, that Tyler dies next week. I hope not, but do you still hold that opinion? And this all harkens back to the name of next week's episode, which is, will you take my hand, do something with my hand? Agent Coulson, take off your fake hand and throw it at me.
I like how we both went to a different place.
Yeah,
That was cool.
sure we did. But anyway, all right, she's going to look up exactly what the title is. But of course, the default thing to think about is that this has to do with a wedding coming up on the show and someone getting married, and everyone's like, oh, it's going to be Tyler and Burnham. They're going to make up their differences, or Culber's going to come back, and him and Stamets are going to get married, even though I think they're probably already married. But
will you take my hand?
Will you take my hand? Yeah. All right. But I think it has to do with, and this is where if I was a good producer, I would have the little video bit to drop in there. But this was a question from the room, so I wasn't prepared. The intro to the show every week, they show us all those drawings and everything, and like many of them have come up in the episode already. Like you see Burnham in her EV suit from the Battle of Binary Stars episodes at the beginning, and there's a couple other different pictures. People say that there's like a tardigrade mouth there, but the very last image that we see are two hands trying to reach out for each other, in two hands that are in space suits, and they're coming together, and then
they like get to about here,
and then they just dissipate.
Spin off, yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I was on camera. This is why I'm doing all this thing, so I can do visual things to show, because normally I had a little box around my face this much, because and so now I can do stuff. So yeah, so the hands get kind of close and then they dissipate, and I'm convinced that this is going to end in some way where Tyler and Burnham are out doing a spacewalk, and they set it up already with the whole tether conversation that they had.
That's right, you're my tether.
In the mirror universe, they like specifically even said that. And so Burnham is going to have a hand anchored onto the ship. I'm still going to move over this way more. Is still going to be anchored to the ship herself, and Tyler is going to be out floating about, and she they've already set it up nice, because this week they didn't have the best of meetings, which is understandable.
Is a thing.
Yeah, and completely realistic. And so they set it up that she's pushed him away, but now I think it's going to end with him willing to like sacrifice himself for everyone else. But like, I think it's going to be that he doesn't really need to sacrifice himself, but he's just like, I got nothing to live for. I'm a Klingon that looks like a human, and I love one woman, and she doesn't even want me, and I can't be in Starfleet, and all my memories are Starfleet and everything. So I'm just going to float out here and let myself die, or something along those lines. Like not necessarily like I'm just going to wussily commit suicide.
If he loses the will to live, I'll lose my absolute shit.
It's not that, but like it's going to be something.
He will be put in a position where he needs to give his life up for everyone.
Yeah, but like Burnham might have like another idea and is like, no, you don't have to die here. We can do this then, and he'll be like, no, I know if I stay and do this, we'll 100% guarantee people will be okay. So that's where I am with that. So that's what I think is going to happen. And sorry, Fabian, because he says that that's a breaking point for.
Yeah, I mean I know,
but they've beat poor Michael Burnham up this whole series, so I don't know why they would leave any door open for happiness and joy.
No happiness for you.
I mean, they're going to be lucky if she doesn't need to be the one that has to kill Georgiou, because I mean, it has to happen.
I thought for sure that was going to happen in the mirror universe. Like I thought that was exactly what was going to happen. But what they ended up doing is that they gave her a chance to save her when she couldn't save her the first time. That was how that mirrored.
Yeah, so when she has to kill her on purpose, it's going to make it even worse.
When she could kill her when she's posing as Captain again. Yeah. Like that's what's going to make it worse.
I hope she does it right in front of Detmer, because Detmer doesn't know that that's not really Georgiou, and Detmer be like, "What the hell are you doing
again?"
No. No, she gets the Vader no on. No, that would be good.
Yeah.
But did you see Detmer's face when Georgiou walked out?
Yeah, like it was great. I think everyone did a great job because I mean Saru was obviously like what, and Burnham was like what's happening, and Detmer and everyone else was very much like what, and then it was like. Like there was that hope,
little starry eye,
like oh my gosh, she's not dead. This is great. You know, we're so lucky. And you know, when I went back and watched it one of the other times, that Cornwell actually says recently freed from so like we're supposed to believe that she had been in some sort of prison all of that time.
Nice.
And she just cleaned up and put a uniform on. Come on back and captain the ship for us.
Yeah. Well, you know, Cornwell's not the best liar, I'll bet. She wasn't.
I don't. She's supposed to be a psychologist.
She's used to being honest with people.
Truth.
But you know,
I would have thought Lorca would have broken her.
yeah, should have.
I did like someone on Aftershock pointed out the face that Burnham made when right after Cornwell disintegrated his bowl of
like
it was like. Like, ooh.
This girl crazy.
Yeah.
But you know the weird thing? No one ever read those fortunes. All the fortunes said, I'm evil and I'm from another universe.
I'm an evil doppelganger from another universe.
The clues were literally there.
I'm so upset that Tribble never came into anything.
Yeah, it sure didn't. I am still convinced that he had that damn Tribble just to feed all his little animals that he has in his menagerie.
Oh, he was feeding the Tribble to the menagerie?
All the offspring of the Tribble.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's other creatures locked up in there. There's going to be a whole separate series about going through Lorca's menagerie.
I think he's mostly weapons.
Animals are weapons. Probably as a hawk. See, I was going to do that, but I'm like, no, that would blow out the mics or just make me sound weird.
All right. So I know that we wanted to talk about the
We
title.
are all over the place in this episode.
I know. Hey, there are notes. We have notes written down. We will come back to the notes. It will center us, and it will be great. Although the thing we wanted to talk about was the title, and I did Google extensively, so I don't know if the war without, the war within comes from anything specific, but it is a phrase that shows up over and over again, and I think it's literary.
Are you sure you Googled Beatles song? Beatles?
I did not.
I
But
told
I Googled lyrics, and I Googled the war without.
No, how about just without? Go talk about one of your things that you want to
Well, I was going to talk about what the meaning meant in terms of the show.
All right, we'll go for it.
So I think obviously like the war without is the war with the Klingons, and the war within is all these little, micro wars where, Burnham is always fighting with herself. And she talked a lot about fighting, these thoughts. What?
What?
Why are you making faces?
This isn't nearly as much fun as when I could do it when you're over there and not even looking at me. It's not like you ever go back and watch any of the things. If you go back and watch our old episodes, you'll see me making faces all the time.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Is that why people keep saying we have great chemistry?
Uh-huh.
Oh, crap.
Yep.
Guys, you got to tell me this stuff.
Yeah. If you checked your Twitter once in a while, maybe you would see that.
Schmitter. So, all these internal struggles. The Emperor versus Starfleet, and Burnham versus this Emperor who was her adoptive, the other Burnham's adoptive mother, and we have Sarek and Burnham, and he and her not really adoptive mother kind of collude together. Like there's all these little micro wars, and I think that is basically what they're setting up is that there's a lot of conflict going on. There's big conflicts and little conflicts and conflicts everywhere, conflicts in between. I read a lot of Dr. Seuss to my daughter today. Sorry.
Oh, nice.
conflicts.
All right. So, what else are we gonna hit on here?
We can run through our little bullet.
All right, our miscellaneous stuff.
Sure. Or we can. Sorry. I know we started to talk about Tyler and Burnham, and we were talking about.
We
Tyler
want to wrap that up.
Yeah. So why don't we hit back up on? We'll round out all of the Tyler talk. Tyler talk.
Well, Tyler, I don't know if you saw the notes, but I have like 3 different sections of Tyler talk.
Yeah,
there's Tyler with Burnham, there's Tyler with Stamets, there's Tyler with the whole rest of the crew. We kind of already touched on the whole rest of the crew part.
Yeah, you had said is how most everyone treating Tyler is supposed to be an allegory for today's wider spread acceptance of mental illness.
Oh yeah,
And,
all right. We're jumping down to that part. Cool.
Yeah, that's fine because
All
that's
just because like I had the thought that it seemed all right, hold on, gathering my thoughts. Everyone is rightfully, except for Burnham, accepting that he wasn't in control during those points, and that it wasn't his fault. What was happening to him and what he did like wasn't his fault. So people that have different types of mental illnesses, some of them do different things. A lot of them do just negative things to themselves, and people try and make them understand that like they're sick and they have a problem with them, and they can get help. And I just felt like it was very similar to those types of things, and how the crew was open to him, how it just took like Tilly going over to start the floodgates of people going over and trying to reassure him.
yeah. I can get behind that allegory.
Okay.
Yep. I don't even have anything to add. That was pretty good.
No, all right.
Spot on.
I've never wrapped up a whole topic all by myself before. Sweet. All right, so Tyler and Burnham.
Yeah, my question was, will they make it as a couple? Will
No.
she forgive him?
She will, but his body will be incinerated in space.
Incinerated in space? Like something will incinerate him?
Yeah, some kind of explosion.
Oh, okay.
Like with the whole Enoch on... Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spoilers.
Nice. Way to go.
But yeah, no.
Yeah,
all right,
that's
all right. Realistic.
They have like a compounded like problems, and Saru kind of touched on that. He said you both have been through quite an ordeal,
right?
And they really had, because like on top of Burnham having to impersonate some other person who looked like her but didn't really act like her, and going through all of that, she had this like other problem that she had to deal with, who happened to be the man she had fallen in love with, ending up being a Klingon, and a Klingon who wanted to kill her and tried and almost did.
Yeah.
So like that was definitely a lot of shock. And I think she was a little unfair to him in that, she was forced to walk through the path of having been the mutineer and being court-martialed and was very much isolated, because there was no Tilly. There was no one.
Yeah.
Until she got to Discovery, and there was Tilly. Tilly was the one who broke the barriers down on getting Michael assimilated into the crew. She really is, she's kind of the wisest member of the crew that way, because she has such empathy. And but she walked for 6 months before she had gotten to that point. Right,
yes, and because she was stuck doing it by herself, she thinks that's the way Tyler needs to figure it out, and that it's all on him.
Yeah.
And granted, now, like, I can't say that Burnham is wrong in saying that's how she's dealing with it, and everyone deals with things different ways. But I just think in this instance, I don't think that that's what Tyler needs. Tyler is obviously, like, now asking for help. And that if she was more open to him, I think that would lead to him not killing himself next week. I'm still sticking with it. But you get.
Yeah, and I would think that Burnham is also ignoring the fact that I think her best growth had been done on Discovery with the help of friends. Like, I think that's why she's being unfair to him. Now, I mean, granted, she has very good reasons to be unfair, because the last thing she saw of him was, his hands around her throat trying to kill her. This man that she thought loved her. It wasn't even like it was just some guy. It was this guy who had, assimilated himself completely into her life. So,
Yeah, but she may not be introspective enough to understand the benefits that Tilly gave her, and having the Discovery crew and being part of that crew gave her to heal, and even falling in love with Tyler. So she might still think that she did it all by herself, but no matter what, she could still just be, flying off the handle because I think murder.
For someone who was raised in a culture that was valued logic heavily, she acts very impetuously. She has since the beginning, like that.
Yeah.
Like as soon as when they, as soon as
don't hit that table.
I'm sorry. I can't hit the table, and I've said like 25 times in this sentence. Right before the battle, when they Battle of Binary Stars, when they met the Klingons, and they were at an impasse. They didn't know what to do other than sit there and call for backup. And she goes and calls Sarek. Like, she runs off, calls Sarek, gets this like nugget of knowledge, and thinks that she knows what to do, and that her way is going to be the best way.
Right, because it worked for the Vulcans.
Because it worked for the Vulcans, totally ignoring that clearly Starfleet would never do something like that. Yeah. And you know, just trying to you know, take this thing that she learned and apply it, and that it was what had to be done. And so from the beginning, from everything we've known, she's always been kind of impetuous, and I think that that's part of this relationship with Tyler. I mean, did he do horrible things? Yes, but like most of his crewmates have already kind of admitted, it really wasn't his fault.
Yeah. So that's where we are with that.
Yay! Tyler and Stamets. Here's another person who it's probably going to take a while to forgive him.
Yeah, but he's at least being realistic about it. And like, I think Stamets stayed in character for his reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I love the way that was done.
Absolutely.
There were some people are saying that like Stamets let him off too easy, and it's like, what do you expect Stamets to do? Like,
slap him? You know, that's one of the things about this show I really love, is that it is not overly dramatic. That when a measured tone it needs to be had, it is had. Like,
yeah.
like
Stamets I'm trying to think of any.
More. Yeah, that's
because that's in his character. They're true to. The
character development on this show was very well done, and the people reacted within their characters to things. Like, yeah, Stamets would never have flown off the handle. That wasn't in his nature. He would. I mean, I felt like he, you know, jabbed him a little bit with it. You know, do you feel guilty? Good, you should. Like, that's very much a Stamets thing to do. Yeah. And so I that's what I really do appreciate about this show, is that the character work is excellent. Anything else on Tyler?
Anything else on Tyler?
Yeah, did we?
I don't know. No, I think I covered everything with Tyler. We saw him in the preview suited up for the thing, like he was doing the classic walk where they're all dressed in their garb. There's the one scene when they're walking, and it's like Tyler and Burnham and Georgiou, and there might have been other people, but those are the three I definitely identified that were like going to probably have to beam down to the surface of Konos or somewhere else, wherever it is that they need to go and get data of first to be able to do stuff, or wherever this away mission is going to be, because Burnham was definitely in civilian looking garb.
Oh, okay.
For a couple different scenes.
Yeah.
When she's telling off Cornwell.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, they're definitely doing some infiltrating there.
How did we get to this from Tyler? I don't understand anymore. Did we hit all the miscellaneous stuff?
No. All
right, we're going to swing back up that one.
I know you want to hit on that first point.
Of course, because it deals with Saru. He must... Either Saru is very like complacent about certain thing, not complacent's not the right word, but allowing Sarek to mind meld with him without putting up like some kind of protest.
I think he was
subservient is the word.
I think he was taken by surprise.
I
think that he was very shocked at what was happening, and the Admiral was right there and said, "This is what's going to happen." And he said, like, "Ambassador, what are you doing?" And he said, what must be done, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, without a little bit more of an explanation, I would have been.
Especially because the mind meld is such an intimate thing. But nobody reacted. Like, no one said anything. It's even Burnham, and she would have been the first one I thought who would have spoken up about, like, what are you doing?
Well, I think Burnham had an implicit trust of Sarek that he wasn't about to scramble his brains. But I guess between the fact that Saru's threat Ganglia didn't come out, and also
and Burnham didn't say anything.
Burnham didn't say anything. And probably being ringed by people with phasers probably had a little something to do with it.
Including the Admiral, who was pointing one indirectly at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do kind of get a little subservient at that moment.
Okay,
like, all right, sure. My mind to your mind.
I'm going to avoid all those Michael Burnham spots in your mind so I don't see anything I shouldn't see.
Oh, good Lord.
No, I meant like silly stuff that he could use to blackmail her with, like dumb stuff that she did when she was 8.
Sure.
Although, I could see Saru doing that though, because they do have the brother sister.
They do have a brother sister. So. Yeah.
All right, and I kind of hit on the next point there in the preview thing that I loved in the first 5 minutes how Saru locked down that thing as soon as Georgiou was there. Even though he just was reeling from the fact that they were eating Kelpians, he turned that transporter kid that he looked like he was 17,
yeah.
And that hair that he had, I mean, it looked cool. He definitely looked cool. I wish I had hair like that.
I'm telling you, that kid is somewhere in his quarters going, "Oh my god! Oh my!" As soon as he found out that Captain Georgiou was back, he's gonna be like,
he's the only other one.
I know a thing, and I can't tell anyone. His head's exploding.
Yeah, if Saru was smart, he would have just gone to Cornwell after all this and been like, "Listen, I don't like what you did here, but you should take this transporter kid with you because I know he's not going to be able to keep his mouth shut." Yeah. And what the hell? I finally got a ship, and now you come on.
I know. I'm so close to being a captain.
But it was weird that the weirdest thing about that scene was when Cornwell came in to make the announcement, and Saru was starting to get up to give her back the chair, and she motioned to him to stay in the chair. So that was I noticed that, and I don't understand why that happened.
Because she was going to give the chair to someone else, I guess, and she wanted him to stand there and give the chair to Georgiou instead of to her, because she wasn't taking command of the vessel.
All right.
To make it look more official?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that still was surprising when Georgiou came out of that.
I was shocked, I tell you.
And
she's making no attempt to be anything like Georgiou.
Well, how the hell is she supposed to know what Georgiou was like?
I don't know. Read a couple of things. I'm sure her record would be in there.
That's beneath her. She's an emperor.
Exactly.
I'm not reading any of that stuff.
Exactly. And that's my question. That's one of my questions on the thing is, will Emperor Captain Georgiou lead them to certain death?
Well, we'll talk about that in Black Alert, because there's no speculation going on there. All right. That next thing looks like Black Alert-y too.
I didn't put that there. Did I put that there?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
no.
I didn't put it there.
I'm sorry. I skipped over Kronos is like a Minecraft world.
Oh, all right. Well, we're there. That one I put there because they were saying it's just all filled with caves. It's like, oh, cool, because I'm recently gotten into Minecraft.
I get what you mean.
and I think that there might be, if you're a fan of the Corpulent Geek channel, there might soon be a Minecraft series going on the channel. Mainly I'm doing it for my son because he watches way too much.
Oh my gosh.
Just a moment there. Fabian in the chat. What do you mean, Tilly, with them? Sorry, I keep trying to bounce back to chat, and I might miss something there. And see, Fabian was on the same point. That she that was back in our Burnham discussion. Yep. So see, we got there. We kind of knew what we were talking about. Not really, but
other people are certainly going to die. Yes.
Well, everyone dies, but
yeah, I know, but specifically because of the Emperor.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Minecraft world. Look for it. Oh, maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll make a special world and call it Kronos.
I think it's still pronounced Kronos, even though
there's definitely no R.
But they pronounce it that way.
Yes, the humans pronounce it that way to purposefully mispronounce it to piss them off.
Oh, Starfleet wouldn't do that.
Well, Starfleet maybe they don't know better, but I don't know.
We have one episode. Oh wait.
Tilly was the other person on the away team. Tilly got to go on an away team mission, with danger and strippers.
Oh. Well, she went on the away team when they went to the Glen.
That's true. And
that was her first mission.
I mainly wanted to get to the strippers line.
And that was one of my questions.
I could just see her being there and be like, oh my.
That was one of my questions, but I had it down in Black Alert.
All right. Sorry. We're jumping all over the place.
That's next week. Anything left on this week?
Sorry. Hold on, everyone.
I think that last question also, that one that you said you think is going to be down in Black Alert, right? Sticking around?
Sticking around that.
Yeah.
Oh, one other miscellaneous thing that I did want to mention was I thought it was cool, and this is a level of deceit in a preview that I enjoy. They in previous week's setup, they were talking about how we have to strike back at the Klingons, and the Emperor Georgiou was saying, I could show you how to do that. And then they show the pictures of what turns out to be all the mushroom spores going down to the planet to terraform the planet. That was a nice thing, because that clearly looked like we were just launching a ton of missiles at a planet somewhere and going to wipe out. I can tell
you how to do that.
Yeah, I can tell you how to do that. You just push this button right here. You got tons of missiles on this ship, right? No, but we have tons of things to grow spores with. Why? I don't know, but we do. It's okay. But that is a level of deceit I do enjoy, because it's more so than, see, and I can't come up with a good example at this moment, but there's several shows that do a piss poor job of it's kind of like all the like the Kardashian shows that cut things up to make it look like it's extra dramatic when it really isn't. Mm-hmm. They like take drama poses from other times and drop them in when someone says something like, someone drank all the milk. Doo-doo! That kind of stuff I don't like. Dramatic squirrel. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. All right. So what are we on to now?
I think we just want to touch on Georgiou and Sarek, the dueling parents.
Bing,
ding, 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 ding,
all right.
Ding, ding.
Yeah.
I liked.
It was a fun scene.
It was a fun scene.
I enjoyed
very
that.
I liked how quick the Emperor was able to identify, like when Burnham had come to talk to her, and she said, "Who's the Vulcan to you?" And she's like, "What? Why are we talking about that?" And she was like, "No, clearly something there." And yeah, I'm always interested in Burnham's, I think, philosophy of being completely honest all the time.
Yeah,
because I was like, you're just handing your enemies information to use against you.
Yep.
And which she did. She calls Sarek to her quarters, and then they have a whole conversation about how, they need to work without letting Burnham know all the details, because clearly Burnham would not approve. And even Sarek, because he's coming from a place of more pure logic, is like, yes, we obviously need to strike back with some amount of totality at the Klingons, because they're not going to stop.
Yeah.
And it's us or them.
And I love how insightful Georgiou's character is. And I don't feel like I got that as much from the captain, from the Prime Universe captain one, but the Emperor, like things that you're saying, how she picked up on Burnham's reactions to the Vulcan. My mom's here finally.
Hey, Mom.
But she picked up on that, and she knew that the Vulcan is the right way to go because he's logical. And wait, that last shot, is that what that looks like on the YouTubes?
I'm scrolled up a little bit.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, very good.
Sorry,
everyone. Technical, making sure everything's working right. Yeah. So between that, she figures out how to get the Vulcan to go to the council to get them to approve it. She's known the things to say to get Cornwell on with the plan.
Oh yeah, she's incredibly manipulative.
Yeah, so that whole mirror universe should be manipulator universe.
Yeah. Yeah, and so was Lorca. He was incredibly manipulative.
Until he got back over to the mirror universe. I'm still upset about that. He still couldn't come up with a good explanation, or not even a good explanation, just a good lie to get Michael to want to stay, or at least to think for a second about staying. You just you should stay. Okay. Sorry. Georgiou seems to be cut from the same cloth. I don't know if I like this thing here, because I'm getting too riled up about talking about the show.
It's my proximity.
It is. She's riling. Anyway.
I am riling.
Big time.
All right. So we're moving on. Wormhole detected. We really don't have anything.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Wormhole detected. We'll just let it go by.
We just scooted right past. Well, but I mean, I got the graphics, so I got to throw it up there just for a second. Look, there's a wormhole. My brother's here, but he's listening in the background. Hey, brother. All right. So coming up is the Black Alert section, which is where we talk about all our theories that we're going to have about the upcoming episodes and the rest of the season, in which case they're one and the same. And any news that we might have heard, like slip-ups that someone did, like this is where we would have talked about Jonathan Frakes mentioning that there were Mirror Universe episodes before the show even started, which got all the people talking and everything. So if you're not interested in discussing future theories, like my brother-in-law, it's time for you to skedaddle, but hopefully come back next Tuesday night, and this Tuesday night we'll actually do it this time. Sorry about this week, but
we'll probably talk a little bit on Sunday night too. I bet we will.
Hopefully.
I think so, yeah.
All right, cool.
There won't be a Super Bowl going on where our team is winning.
I was all ready to talk last week, but this one was all into the game. It is cute. It is cute with our 8-year-old being into it.
Yeah, and that was the other thing.
And
he got really into it.
Yeah, and he got into it through school, not even through us.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. I digress.
We digress.
All right, Black Alert. Black Alert. Oh, now that we're doing this thing, I got to find a way to make the walls sweat.
Okay, I think that might be the line.
Oh no.
No, I think that's right where we need to end our
special effects are awesome. It wouldn't be that expensive. Anyway, all right. So what are we going to try and hit on first? Let's didn't we have something Tyler related that was oh, look at that. The whole section where I talked about the title of the next episode should have been in Black Alert. I went and screwed over everyone. I'm sorry.
You talked about a theory. Someone heard it.
I'm sorry.
They didn't want to.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I feel like we kind of talked. Yeah, that when you talking about Tyler was mostly something you would have talked about there. I want to talk about first. I didn't put it in notes, and I had a thought, and I want to say it out loud because if I don't, it'll be gone.
Go for
it. This is the last episode, and we have not seen Harry Mudd yet.
We haven't. So maybe that was just lies.
That's sad if that's just lies.
It is
because
sad.
It kept me every week being like, Mirror Harry? Oh no Mirror Harry. Harry this week? No Harry this week.
You're talking to our fans out there like you do our daughter.
Well, that's how our daughter talks to us. 2-word sentences.
But in a way it's kind of cool that they had that out there, so we were like off thinking about that, trying to come up with different stuff, and maybe we wouldn't have seen something coming. So I don't.
Especially talking about seeing something coming, and I like we have this whole Black Alert section that we like to have because they did such a good job of like laying the clues and leading us to the theories, and I think they did an excellent job of that. But I feel like maybe because the big things have all happened, I have no idea what's about to happen.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Well, I have no idea if there were clues or not, if we need to really look back at the beginning and see if there's going to be these mirror parallels that maybe that will clue us in. But I feel like I have no... Like, the idea of what's going on in their universe right now seems so foreign that who knows?
Yeah.
What?
This past week, I was a true fan, and as soon as the episode dropped, I came back here to the studio and watched the episode. And I came up there and I said, for the Black Alert section this week, this is all I'm going to have. I'm going to... Because I agree with you. I have absolutely no realistic idea how things are supposed to go.
So I basically came up with like a series of questions to talk about because I have no answers.
Real quick before we dive into that, though, we had another question in the chat there.
Question in the chat, and
I'm pretty sure I thought that we addressed it last week, brother of mine. But will Tilly ever be more than just a cadet? Will she gain in rank? If she survives next week, she definitely will be more than a cadet.
She will.
But like the real problem was before, when they were stuck in the Mirror Universe, that they weren't going to be dealing with any kind of mess there, and now they're about to jump literally inside the enemy's planet. Literally inside the enemy's planet. So I don't even think that she's too worried.
I don't feel like I buy any of that. I really do, because you watch the World War II movies, and there were field promotions that could happen. And at one point, Cornwell came on board. I think clearly Saru could have been like, hey, Cadet's been integral into us surviving all of this. I think perhaps she should get a field promotion.
All right. I don't
Or I filed it, and all Cornwell needed to do was look through and be like, yeah, yes, no, this guy, what did he really do?
I don't disagree that definitely could have happened, and I wouldn't have had a problem at all if they made her an ensign right there. Cornwell, they had a little 5-minute thing. Cornwell presented it to her in the cafeteria, and everyone sat with her because she's cool. But I also have absolutely no trouble with them being like, we're in the middle of bullshit here. Sorry. Black Alert's curse-filled, too, apparently.
I think I've already cursed.
Oh, how dare you. But, I mean, they just saw 80,000 of their Starfleet people dead.
Well, then they really need ensigns. I knew it. As soon as you started to say they just saw, I was like, yes.
The rest of this show will be brought to you by my wife, because I'm done. I'm out.
I'm going to be asking questions I have no one to discuss them with.
See, maybe, see, you just explained it to me what's going to happen. See, Tilly is going, she's going to try and be the first one that jumps from cadet straight to captain. Because if she holds out long enough, the Klingons will just wipe everything out. And all she's going to,
now.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it's going to be.
And she'll be a great one. It'll be great.
Yeah,
it'll be the touchy-feeliest captaincy.
I don't know.
And everyone will love following her.
When she needs to be serious, she's serious.
In fact, and she was this last week when she told Burnham to.
Oh yeah, but that was still. I mean, that's still touchy-feely parts. I'm talking about like when she went to Saru and said previously with Stamets that his thing wasn't medical. He needs to be in the engineering, so I can plug him into a machine and fix him up with the spores and all.
Yeah.
So even from a like technical.
Yeah, no, she has a brilliant technical mind.
So we answered this question again from my brother, and he admits that he probably fell asleep last week. And you didn't go back and watch like the hour and 20 minutes that we did?
False.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Anyway, all right. Jumping back to our Black Alert. Anyone that's in the room, please feel free to ask us questions. I promise to try and get back and look in that little window every so often. But go for it, baby.
Will they destroy Kronos? Is Kronos a den of sin? All of the preview made it look like they just had humans trapped and dancing for their pleasure. And I feel like this look at the Klingons is different from the honor-bound Klingons that we were familiar with.
Yeah, and I don't feel like the original series Klingons had all the honor-bound stuff. Like, I think that was kind of retconned in with all the Jadzia Dax Klingon stuff. Sorry.
No, I would say Next Generation.
Well, yeah, no, but yes, Next Generation definitely had the honor-bound ones, but then you go on and you had Jadzia Dax, who had relationships with original series era as earlier versions of Dax. And so that's what I meant by the retconning back to
the
original
series.
Yeah.
I guess I understand they're painting the Klingons as these because they're warring amongst the houses. So there's this
still
kind
disparate.
of a savage, more savage type warrior race.
I definitely feel all that savagery is there still with the Klingons now, but I feel that all the honor-bound stuff is... I need to stop saying stuff. All the honor-bound are things that... whoever ends up taking up the leadership over all the houses, that's what they're going to instill in them to help keep them
that's kind
organized.
Of a uniting force.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
Jumping back out of our Black Alert stuff for another question, was how long do you think next week's episode will be? There's been a lot of people that are saying they have so much stuff they have to get through next week. The episode's going to be an hour and a half long for sure. I think that if the episode was much longer than average, that they would have said something about it already to try and like stir up people talking about it, that they're having an extra long special episode. And
but
so
I
far,
also agree that I feel like they need
they need slightly
At
more
least an
time.
hour.
Hopefully, it definitely won't be like that 36 or 38-minute episode that we had. Then there was the one episode in the Mirror Universe that was pretty short. It was like 38 minutes or something. But this last episode was one of the longer ones, only by a few seconds. But I do agree that they have a lot of stuff to do, or nothing at all, and they just come out of left field with something. But yeah, just my just thoughts are that it won't be dramatically longer. It might be up to an hour.
I would say
of actual
an hour
time.
of actual time. Yeah, that's. I feel like they need at least that much. But I guess I don't know what they're doing either. Like,
I'm
are
happy
they
with
really
a 3-hour conclusion.
3-hour conclusion. Will they destroy Kronos? And if they're going to destroy Kronos, like, are they really going to be sticking around this timeline? Because I feel like we've run way off the rails. And like, one of my questions is that they classified the spore drive is like just classifying, like deep classifying it enough to push it out of canon. Like it's. I feel like for me, that would be enough to say that's why we haven't heard of it before. They deep classified it. No one talked. Starfleet, was very strict about that.
Yeah.
But all of this other stuff, this Klingon war going so badly in their direction, they attacking Kronos and perhaps destroying it. Like this.
That's not going to happen. That they wouldn't let Star Trek deviate that much from the moral center, and that's going to be the big plug of next week. That's going to be Burnham. We saw it already in the preview, Burnham standing up to the Admiral, and that crew is going to have to take it upon themselves, be like, no, we're not being those Nazis and just following orders.
And that is her big moral parallel. Like, that's her big one. That is the biggest arc. Was Burnham at the beginning, impetuous Burnham, who said, this was the logical path, let's do it, and completely not taking into regards what Starfleet stood for. And now Burnham at the end, standing up to the same captain and saying, I won't do that. It's not what Starfleet stands for. Like, that, I think, is going to be the big parallel that they have set out in this series. Whoa.
I just figured it out.
Woo!
This whole series has been Michael Burnham's command test for becoming a captain.
This is her Kobayashi Maru?
Yes, she's been in some kind of
simulator?
Yes. That's how they're going to do with it, and I'm going to hate it.
It's like Newhart. She wakes up.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, things really did start with Georgiou saying, I think you're ready for your own command. And now everything that she's gone through, now she's at a point where she's demonstrated, yeah, I really am ready for my own command. Because I'm sticking to all that.
Starfleet, yeah.
I mean, I know it's not really real. I just had that thought, and I like voicing these opinions. But come on.
The canon boys would be like, what? We never heard of tests like that.
Well, no, there's...
I mean, the Kobayashi Maru is a live simulation.
It's not the Kobayashi Maru. They're... Oh, man, I wish I had all the Trek knowledge in my brain right now. But I know that there have been similar things when people... Well, shut up, Wesley. There were tests to get into
Starfleet Academy?
Into Starfleet Academy that he didn't know when it was going to happen. There was an episode like that.
Okay, yeah.
Uh-oh, I said something that upset our viewer, Fabian. What? No, she's not. I don't know what you meant. What did... I might not know what he was talking about, but yeah, there was
probably no. She's not just dreaming all of this, or
okay, okay, all right. In that case, yes, most likely she's not. But think how cool that would be if like everything that happened, because they didn't have the Discovery then, nothing. Oh,
yeah, she didn't know anything about that.
Yes, she should be Captain Saru's number one. I 100% agree with that. Saru has now demonstrated that he is an awesome captain.
Yeah, and I would hate for it to be just her test, because his growth over this time has been beautiful.
Yeah,
and I would hate
that's
that
the other
not
thing.
to be a real character's growth.
Well, maybe Georgiou is ready to retire, and Tyler gets Discovery, and Saru gets Shenzhou.
You mean Burnham?
Burnham gets Discovery. What did I say?
Tyler.
Yeah, no, not Tyler at all.
Like, he's not getting nothing.
But at least then he's not dead.
Oh.
And there's really a guy named Tyler that programmed the simulation. He's in the background. He's like really nerdy.
I got Burnham to fall in love with me. Yeah.
Oh, it would be great if when she's getting up out of the simulation, Tyler's in the back behind a little screen and he pushes a button.
No, don't do it.
Hello, Commander Burnham. It's Lieutenant Tyler. Can you hear me? Sorry, that's more callback to that show that Shazad Latif is on. I will find the YouTube link. I will find the YouTube link and put it in the show notes down below because it's very funny. All right.
As soon as you said it,
Holy cow. All right, we're gonna laugh about this for a few minutes. We're sorry. I'll edit this out afterwards. Woo, but the live people, they're getting it. All right.
Yeah, I feel very much like they set it up for time travel. So I don't know where it's going to fit into this whole Kronos plan.
I think that the Discovery crew is going to put their foot down and stop and not destroy Kronos. But the original plan is still going to be valid, and they're going to be like
spores.
Yeah.
Well, now they have spores. So now that Stamets can be like, that's what I think it's going to be, is them like overthrowing this Starfleet plan and the team getting together and saying, how can we fix this? Actually putting their minds to it and being like, we need to go back in time. We can't allow this to happen. And Stamets is going to be like, all right, I think I can do that. And we got spores. We got spores.
Yeah.
We got spores.
But so they're going to go back and stop all of it?
I don't know. At that point, I'm just going to go along for the ride.
All right.
I don't know where they will go.
And they're going to need all the spores that are on the ship for them to be able to go back in time. And once they do that, he doesn't even have his samples anymore that he can grow new stuff from. So everything about spores is just all dried up. And that's why they can't use that
back
anymore.
In time, and the sample would exist in the past.
He would have. But
time travel.
Yeah. Anyway. All right.
I feel like we have almost reached the tipping point for. I don't want them to go forward on this timeline.
Well,
but I don't know. Like, I've been pleased with everything that they've done so far. So.
Yes, but no. Up until last week's episode, I've been pleased with everything they did. I am displeased with the Starfleet Command going this route, but maybe I'm just not understanding how vicious this has been against Starfleet from the Klingons, and it has, which is why I don't understand how this timeline can go on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't understand. I would not.
But I would think
that this would be a very, a more prevalent.
Item to discuss
to have happened, and that like the original series wouldn't have bloomed out of this past. Yeah,
and at the worst case, just I don't even know. But it's even worse though. I would rather have them have to deal with this timeline than them just go back in time and just make everything go away.
Yeah, I don't like the reset button timeline jump.
I don't like that at all. But I don't know what's left at this point.
I don't either. And that's why
we
don't know what's going to happen next week. I don't know. We're back to there.
Man, Sunday is going to be rough. We don't have any plans Sunday, right? At all? Don't talk about that now. All right. So
I think that's it. It's we're very much on the edge of our seat with what's about to happen.
Oh, there's one other bullet in here. I don't think Killy's dead. I think she was captured by the Klingons. And it's going to become a thing at some later point. It's not going to tie into this story right now, but I think that, there's a chance that in season 3...
Tasha Yar's Romulan child?
Well, no, because that dealt with time travel, and this just deals with mirror universe travel. Blink, blink, blink.
Blink, blink, blink.
But I mean, if anyone's going to figure out a way to survive, and they've demonstrated that the mirror... Oh, no, because we don't really know when Lorca came over. I was assuming that Lorca, Mirror Universe Lorca, got control of the Baran and then like blew it up because all those people there are the ones that really knew him very well. And plus he needed to get another ship, in a ship with a spore drive. But anyway, I'm digressing all over the place. All right, did we hit everything else in our Black Alert section? Kronos is a den of sin. It's not a wretched hive of scum and villainy, though.
No.
And yeah, so those were all human strippers that they had?
I don't know if exactly they were human, but they were not Klingon, I don't believe.
I missed any...
They had hair, I think.
I missed any green ones, so I'm disappointed there aren't any Orion slave girls.
I don't know.
You would think that there should be.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if they only have, like, subjugated humans. Like, if that's why they have humans now, because they have been, you know, for 9 months running roughshod over Starfleet, and they're just pulling.
Yeah, all right. That would explain how, because I've been trying to think how their away team could get down to Kronos and do anything. It's like they're humans, they're going to stick out, but good point, like slaves and stuff like that. That does make more sense.
Cool.
All right. Did we hit everything? I'm excited, but I'm also I'm kind of dreading it.
It's an ending. Endings are apprehensive.
Well, yeah,
it is. It's just it's okay.
I don't know if I would have
to mourn the ending. We had such a wild ride, and I mean, other shows in the past have done this to us, where there's a lot of the cool thing is that there's not as much investment in other shows, like, you know, 6 years worth of shows that then end and it's totally unsatisfying. But this one, the level of investment was thorough because we enjoyed it so much. We're talking about it on the internet.
Yeah,
and so like it's okay if you know there's apprehension, and I mean,
yeah, but
it's
until last week's
enough.
episode, I had no apprehension at all.
Yes, I understand.
It kind of does make me wish that they had only gone with the 13 original episodes, and that like they ended it after the jump back, and then because originally supposedly the series was only supposed to be 13 episodes for the first season, and they elongated it out to 15. And I don't know if they took everything and they just had more story that they needed, so they spread it out that way.
I'm gonna believe that,
but it also seems coinky-dinky that there's 2 episodes added to the season and there's 2 episodes after they got back from the Mirror Universe. It seems like they just kind of pasted those on. I would like to know the truth about that. Oh, and also one other tidbit thing. One little news thing I did hear that falls in the Black Alert section. Mm-hmm. Supposedly, I haven't been able to verify this myself, but I am going to search online for it, that like the writer's room has been verifying for a while now that they are in the same, that they always had been in the same prime universe as original series one, because that's always been one of my theories.
Is that at some point they were going to jump into our actual Star Trek
that
universe,
and that would explain
this whole other one has been something else. So, and that way the spore drive and the failed war could be erased that way.
Yeah, which kind of would have made sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, they can. Don't get me wrong.
They could be lying.
They did 13 great episodes that I loved, and I just wasn't a giant fan of this one. Oh, hey, we forgot our format where should start off the go to warp section with talk about stuff we didn't necessarily love about this week's. Okay. So now we're wrapping it up. Yeah, that's no good. But I am confident that the writers, I've liked everything that they've done with all the setups and everything. So I'm confident that they have it all figured out. Looking at you, Ted Sullivan, even though you're never going to hear this, but you should, because I know that you guys do listen to some stuff that's out there, podcasts and all. Yeah. Oh, maybe I should look and see who wrote the last episode. I should find that out. I'll tweet that out when I figure it out. All right. Are we...
Got a little bit of chatter left in the...
Oh, a little bit of chatter?
Chat.
Oh, hold on. From what I hear, Shazad Latif has something to do with that. To do with what? And trying to figure out a way to keep him on the show because I guess JJ had other plans.
The additional 2 episodes or the extension of the 2.
Oh, Shazad Latif had something to do with that. Okay, cool.
He's pretty awesome.
All right. Good. Good tip. Thank you. JJ had other plans for that role. Who's JJ? Not J.J. Abrams. He's with the movie stuff.
Yeah.
Who's J.J.?
Any clarification?
We'll hang out for a little bit.
Well, yeah. We'll think on Mike's predict the biggest cliffhanger you think of.
Predict the biggest cliffhanger you think of scenario. The biggest cliffhanger would be
Mount Everest.
Well, because they boo. Sylvester Stallone. Boo.
K2.
They did well.
But that's smaller than Everest. Everest was the answer.
So in the preview, they did show like a planet blowing up, but I don't know if that was like part of the message that they're going to send to Kronos and say, "Look what we can do," and do their little demonstration thing. But I meant the original Fuller. Okay, yeah. So originally Brian Fuller was the producer and the creator of this show, and from everything that I hear, he really wanted to do a serialized show, an anthology show that every season told its own story, and like so this would wrap up the Discovery story, and then next season, whenever that came out, would be a whole different story with a whole different crew set in possibly a whole different time. I would like that.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome simply for all the different variety we would get, and it would change a show, and that could go on forever. But I would hate it because it probably wouldn't have Saru. But anyway.
We'd find a new love.
Yeah. Maybe they would do a future one where the Kelpians took over the Federation.
Or maybe they'll do it a la American Horror Story where the same actors play different characters.
That would be cool too. But I mean, nothing against Doug Jones, but this is really the first thing I've noticed him in, specifically. And I do definitely like him as an actor, and he's doing a fantastic job as Saru. But I mean, it's Saru that I like. Sorry. Anywho, so yes, biggest cliffhanger would be that Georgiou pushes the button to launch whatever it is they're going to launch to destroy Kronos, and like those missiles or whatever are on their way, and then they cut to black.
I think it's got to be something that doesn't have to do with this storyline. Like they get back and whoever has died, and then we find out Burnham's pregnant. I don't know, with some sort of weird...
Yeah, I was upset Cornwell wasn't pregnant. I thought for sure that was going to have happened.
Pregnant or had a kid running around.
It's 9 months. It was not... They jumped 9 months, exactly. Don't jump 9 months without having a baby there. You jump 8 months or you jump 10 months. 10 months would be a problem because then the baby could already be there. So you jump 8 months. You don't jump 9 months. That makes everyone think about babies.
Just you.
Just me?
Yep.
Really? Okay, all right.
I'm not thinking about babies.
No, we're not thinking about it, babies anymore. But wait, we were on to something else, though, right then.
The cliffhanger?
Oh, yeah, the cliffhanger thing. Oh, man, and I lost it.
No.
It was going to be good, too.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, but the writers have also promised us that the Klingon War story is overdone.
So, yeah,
is over,
it is over
and done with this season.
Good.
So I really don't think... I think that the Klingon thing wraps up. So, yeah, they probably will have some kind of...
introduction to the next season's story.
Yeah.
It'll be Mudd. It'll be Harry Mudd.
Oh, that would be cool.
Harry Mudd will show up, and he'll be like... and
as long as they don't cheeseball it and have the Enterprise show up and like Jim Kirk hail them.
Well, it wouldn't be Kirk now. It would be
that's
Pike.
True. Pike? Not April?
Not April, no. Pike is the...
What about June?
May we say goodbye?
I don't know, I guess. All right, yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you in the chat.
Absolutely. Good chatter today.
We appreciate it. I got to find out some way of being able to store this live chat. Hold on, because I don't want to pop out chat. Oh, let's hit the pop out chat thing and see maybe I can somehow copy that, unless it just all went away.
Copy that.
Sweet. All right. So from Corpulent Geek and
Sci-Fi Christina,
we say thank you very much for watching the Threatened Ganglia vodcast. Yay! And probably tune back in Sunday. But if you do, make sure you've watched the show, because we're just going to be spoiling everything. Because we'll
I'm sure
probably
it'll be
be
like a lot of Kermit arm flailing, and it'll be great.
I hope it's that. I hope it's not like it
Just
comes
two
back.
sad people.
Yeah, like I can't believe Saru is dead.
He was so tasty.
I'm heartbroken. Goodbye, everyone.
Oh no.
Bye.